Hey guys, so today I decided to make some French toast. And what's better with French toast? Oh yeah, people like anglaise, or you can make a chantilly, but today I'm going to make a Diplomat cream. It's soigné, vanilla, and as well as a little bit of candied pecans. If you like candied pecans, this is the recipe for you. Do a little cooking in a simple syrup, deep fry that. It's amazing. Extra crunchy, extra soigné, yummy yummy in your tummy. Hey guys, so today we'll start with the pastry cream. So here we're going to scald about 550 grams of whole milk. Okay, so make sure we add that to heat. You can have it on medium high. While that's happening, here we're going to separate about 6 egg yolks. So 6 egg yolks, extra soigné, let's get this. Okay, so I like to beat the egg yolks once I have it a little bit so it gets a little lighter in color. And then once that happens, we add our sugar. So here we're adding about 110 grams of sugar. And we mix that until it gets nice and fluffy and light. So here we go. You can see the colors change. It's got a little light lemony color. Almost looks like lemon curd right now. Once we get it to this point, I like to sift some custard powder. And here's a brand, Birds. It's a British brand. So here we're doing about 75 grams of custard powder. I like to sift it in there. I could have used a spoon or a whisk to push it through the strainer a little bit quicker, but I decided to speed up the video for you guys. Add a little more visual contrast. Oh yeah, isn't that nice? Nice and airy and snowing. Okay, so once that happens, we give it a little mixy. A little whiskey, a little stirry. So we get that all incorporated. So hopefully, it just came to a scald. Look at that! Okay, and then we temper it into our egg and custard base. Okay, slowly temper it in there. You don't want to curdle your eggs. I also did a technique like this in one of my previous videos for making lemon curd. You can check that out. But here we go. Just tempering it out. And once I have it to the way I want it to be, I'm going to add it to the pot, and then we'll cook it slowly. I like to use this French whisk since it can reach all the corners of the pot. You can use a slightly bigger pot than I decided to use here, but it has to be a heavy bottom pot. That's the most important part here. Heavy bottom for even heat, okay? So here I whiskey it, keep mixing it constantly. This will take about 7-8 minutes or so over a medium-low heat. You don't want to go too hot. You just want it to be pretty low. So I'd say on the lower side. It'll take a little bit longer, but you're more likely to have a good result. So you got to keep mixing it. As you can see, it starts to get thick. So this is when it's almost done. I like to take it off and on the heat just so I can encourage it from not overcooking, not curdling, and not being garbage. Okay, you don't want to invest all this time and money into what you're making and then you have to throw it out and start all over. That's kind of not the way to do this. Okay. So on and off the heat, make sure it's nice. When I think it's ready, I'm going to strain it. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, let's see. Nice and thicky. Oh, is it ready? Oh, yep, it's ready. Okay, a little vanilla extract, about a teaspoon there. You can add half a vanilla bean when you scald the milk originally if you'd like to do that. And also I'm going to add some cold butter here. It's only about 1 ounce of butter, 30 grams of butter, unsalted, preferably. So I mix it in, get it nice, and then we strain it over 2 bowls. So one has ice water below the other bowl, so it'll chill it down. And you just have to keep mixing it afterwards. Okay, so while that's chilling down, I like to whisk some whipping cream. This is for the Diplomat cream here now, since we have the pastry cream finished. So we're going to whisk it to a medium peak. Give it a little whiskey. A little whisk. Whisk. Okay, yeah, here it is. It looks good. Almost medium peak there. Yeah, nice and soigné. Yep. Yeah. Okay, so I measured out about 300 grams of pastry cream from that previous recipe, as well as we're doing about 200 mils of cream that I've whipped, and we're going to add it in there. But we're going to only add a third of it at the beginning, and we're folding it in nice and gently. You don't want to knock too much of the air out of it. Otherwise, you'll have like a very loose Diplomat cream. Usually, Diplomat cream has a little bit of gelatin in there, so you'd lightly warm up some of the pastry cream, bloom about a leaf of gelatin, about 2 grams of gelatin, add it in there, and then you fold it all together, la la la. But we're not doing that today, okay? We're doing it like this. I decided I want to put it in a piping bag. I'm going to plate it a little more chefy for you guys today. So we'll see how this goes. This is totally optional. You can just put it in a bowl, set it and forget it, pull it out later, just put a dollop on top. But I want to do a little bit more of a styling for you guys, you know? Got to be chefy. Okay, yeah, here's a bench scraper. Get as much air out of the bag as possible, and then I tie it off. This is totally unnecessary, but I just like it that way. Okay, here. Now we're going to start with the candied nuts. So if you guys like candied nuts, these are for you. So you need to start off with about 200 grams of pecans, and then I add some cold water. We're going to add it to the stove, bring it up to a boil, simmer it for about 2 minutes, and then we're going to strain that. Doesn't that look nice? Okay, strained it, add it back to the pot, and then after that, I add about 150 grams of sugar and half a cup of water. Okay, this is important. The ratio has to be correct or else this will not work properly. So once I do that, I add it back to the heat. Okay, so and then I bring that up to a boil as well. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, it's boiling! Okay, and then I like to mix it. Once it comes to a boil, I keep mixing it so that nothing sticks to the bottom, nothing burns, and it will fully absorb into the nuts nice and evenly. And I'll coat it properly. Okay, so once it's been about 2 minutes or so, you can just tell by the thickness of the syrup. Well, I can't anyways. Maybe you can't. And then I'm going to be straining that off. So here we go, strain it off. You can reserve the syrup and use it for something if you want. Nut-flavored syrup, it can work with certain things if you are creative like that. But sometimes nuts have a little bit of a bitterness in there, I'm not going to lie. So these were raw nuts. You don't want toasted nuts because we're going to be deep frying these nuts, okay? So I have a pot of oil. I get it to about 325, 330. That's where I want it to be. And after that, I just dump the nuts in there. You have to make sure that you're continuously mixing it, okay? It's going to drop dramatically. It's probably going to go to about 260 degrees or so. So you keep mixing it. This takes about 3 to 3.5 minutes to cook it. You don't want to go too long or else the nuts will burn. So sometimes, and there's a little bit of carryover. So if you leave it in there too long, they might look okay, but a couple minutes out of the fryer, they're going to get too dark and they're going to taste bitter. So make sure you keep an eye on this. This took me about just around 3 minutes. So when they come out of the fryer, you like to drain them, okay? And then I toss them in a bowl. And then this is where you season them. A little bit of Chinese 5-spice. It works really well with this dish. Chinese 5-spice and a little bit of salt in there, okay? You can use whatever salt you want. I just prefer a fine salt for this. It sticks and coats to the nuts nicely. And after this, I drain them on a paper towel and let them set them aside until they cool down, and then I put them in an airtight box, okay? Very important. Don't close the box while it's warm. Okay, so here we go. We're going to make the French toast mix, okay? So we're going to start off with 125 grams of cream, 125 grams of milk, which, yeah, it's good. And here we go, about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Put 2 tablespoons of sugar. You don't add too much sugar, or else it'll burn when you cook it. And 2 eggs, okay? I like to use the omega-3 eggs because they're nice and yellow and they make me feel good inside. Okay? Here, some more Chinese 5-spice. So the flavors are going to cross over. They'll work well together. Just a dash of cinnamon in there as well. I like that. It's nice. It's pretty traditional with French toast. A little bit of freshly ground nutmeg as well. Here we go. Got to use a microplane. If you don't have one of these, you can use a grater. You can buy pre-ground nutmeg, but this always has the best flavor. This is what I recommend. Grady, grady. Look at all those colors on there floating in the milk and cream. It's like a painting. A very nice painting. Okay, and just a pinch of salt. Salt is always good. It brings out the natural flavor of things. I highly recommend it. So I'm going to hit it with my immersion blender, stick blender, whatever you want to call it. So I just blend it up and then set it aside until I'm ready to do the French toast. Okay, let's do this. Blendy, 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 blendy. Blend, 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 blend. Oh yeah, is it nice? Oh yeah, it looks good. Blendy, blend. Okay, here I got brioche. You got to make sure it's 2 or 3 days old. Always recommend it. Grind out your handy dandy bread knife, serrated knife. And we just slice it off to about inch and a quarter thick slices. I do recommend brioche. You can use challah bread. You can get like brioche style bread at like Chinese bakeries, like somewhere like a TNT, wherever you prefer. Okay, here we go. This is my soaking station. So I have a couple containers set up. So I put it in there. Oh, I was going to flip my hand, but I decided to be smart this time. Let's grab the tongs. Yep, little flippy, flippy, soaky, soaky. So this recipe that I made will get you about 6-7 pieces of French toast at this thickness. And obviously, the older the bread, the drier it'll be, so it'll absorb more liquid. So, I mean, it all depends. It'll vary depending on what's going on, you know. It'll soak. And then I let the French toast sit for a few minutes before I cook it. But pan, medium-ish heat, and just a little bit of butter. And here we go, non-stick pan. Let's do this. Okay, here, I'll narrate it while we plate it up. Here we go. So a piece of French toast on the plate, a little bit of this Diplomat cream here. It's nice and creamy and moist. It'll hit the spot just correct. Okay, a little bit. I chopped up some of the candied nuts, put it on top. Dude, I highly recommend these nuts. You will thank me for these things. They are the best way to cook candied nuts. Deep fried. I mean, you don't have that butter flavor, but they are really good. They're addictive. The salt, the sweet, you'll love them. Okay, and then in soigné, you got to have warm maple syrup. Warm maple syrup is the way to go. If you guys like the video that I did today, please subscribe and hit that like button. If you want to see more videos just like this, that's what you need to do. We got to keep this ball rolling. We got to keep making these videos. We got to dress to impress. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it.